Okay, you know you are starting your weekend off right when you got Matt Orfalea here. Matt, thanks for kicking us off Friday evening. And we would take some of Matt's extra earnings on YouTube and go party, but unfortunately, we're going to talk about how business is not so great on YouTube, but how it's secretly being manipulated now. And this is exactly what Matt was on talking about the last time about how this was going to be in the works. What was it, Matt, to like avoid the rage mobs or whatever, to avoid basically us fighting back against censorship, platforms like YouTube are going to start just manipulating the content without letting us know. And that's exactly what you found happened to you. So run us through this tweet thread here where it says, breaking: YouTube secretly labeled a video of mine harmful or dangerous after sending me an email telling me the opposite, that the video was safe and suitable for all advertisers.
So there's a backstory to this and this video. So this video was originally completely censored, deleted by YouTube last year due to their election misinformations policy, where they would not allow videos, any content that commented on the integrity of the 2020 election. Now, I did not forward or make any claims of stolen elections, which it was supposedly the kind of stuff that it's supposed to be against the policy, but my video proved that it was really just anything discussing it at all, even if you weren't advancing it. So what I did is I just documented election claims of election integrity failure from both Hillary Clinton in 2016 and from Donald Trump in 2016 and 2020. And yeah, as I said, YouTube deleted it. Now, in June of this year...
Hey, Matt, I'm just going to stop you for a second while we're talking because a couple people say you're too quiet. Oh. Can you pump up your volume a little bit?
Sure. Let's see what I can do here.
That sounds much better.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even do anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Does it sound better to other people? It sounds higher to me.
I can. Okay. So, oh gosh. How is this, everyone? Is that any better?
I might be able to go into StreamYard and edit your mic settings, and let's see what happens. Okay. I'll just pump you all the way up here.
Okay.
Keep talking.
All right.
Let us know in the chat.
How's it going, guys? Yeah, let us know if this is an improvement, if I'm coming in strong or too strong.
Speak up, Sonny boy. Someone says.
Really? Is it still too low?
I don't know. Well, when you move your mic, it crackles. You got louder for a second, it says. Right. Let's keep. I'm going to edit. I'm going to put you all the way up. I'm putting you at like 200.
Okay,
mic volume.
testing. 1, 2. Still no?
Still
I don't know. Nothing?
Somebody let us know.
Yeah, let us know how that's coming in. There are some options
that's
I have.
Better.
Okay.
It sounds like at least the local chat's coming in saying, okay, better. Yeah, great. Okay, now the YouTube chat agrees.
So I see a thumbs down. Is that before or after the change?
A thumbs down
from Briz Bill.
Oh, in locals? Oh, better after he moved the mic, bad wire connection, still talking into a pillow. Okay, now after.
All right. So
I think you're doing better. Keep going.
Better. All right. Now to you, Allison, am I coming in clear?
I hear you fine.
Okay.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah, it's still kind of trash, still low. That's really weird because I hear you totally fine.
Should I try to log out and log back in again? There's also settings, like there's
I think other people are saying you're better.
All right.
In YouTube. I think we go on with the show.
Okay.
Unless there's something else you can do mechanically with your mic. Which I don't think you can.
I mean, I could probably bring it up a little bit.
Format.
Let's see. Well, I'm bringing up the mic gain.
Oh.
Bringing it up.
Whoa.
Is that too much?
Woo! I mean.
Is that too much?
Whoa. Blowing out my volume. Gotta pull my headphones out for a second.
Was
okay.
Too much?
All right. Now everyone's saying perfect. Okay.
Right after I blew your eardrums.
I just turned my volume down. Hearing him clearly,
perfect.
just low volume. Great now. Okay. All right.
Oh,
Take it away,
gosh.
Matt.
That'd be funny if the whole time it was just somebody listening. They had their volume cranked too
Well,
low.
that I never take the advice of one person in the chat. It always has to be multiple people because that happens all the time. Okay, I think we're doing better. All right, Matt. Let's go back to the screen that we started with, which is your video secretly labeled harmful or dangerous. And you were talking about how this video, basically all you had done was take clips from mainstream news of both candidates making very similar claims, essentially making the point, which you often do, that the hysteria over one versus the other's claims is total hypocrisy because they're all doing it. And so people freaking out that Donald Trump would say the same thing that they all said or they allowed Hillary Clinton to say with no problem just shows that there's a lot of hypocrisy in like the corporate news and in politics, generally speaking. And so you were talking about how originally this video was ripped down.
Yes. So originally this was taken down, completely deleted. Then in June of this year, YouTube reversed their policy. So they announced in June of this year they would no longer delete videos that contained content questioning election integrity. So I was like, well, let's see if that's really true, YouTube. So I re-uploaded the video. Of course,
Matt, we need more volume from you again.
Oh my God. Okay, I can.
They're saying 10%. Can you bring it
crank
up?
It up. Crank it up. Oh boy, cranking it up. Cranking it up. I mean, I could really crank this.
I think people are like out already at the club. You guys need to step outside to listen to Matt. All right, it's not meant to be listened to while you're inside like twerking at a bar. Okay, now it's
is that cranked?
His volume is great now.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, now hopefully I'm not clipping, but all right.
That's fine. I'm gonna turn my volume down a little bit.
You guys, let me know if I'm clipping now. All right, here we go. So as I was saying,
now they're saying I'm too quiet now.
Oh my gosh!
It doesn't matter what I sound like. Matt's the person that we care about. Go ahead, Matt.
Oh gosh. Okay. So yeah, they deleted the video in June. They said they would no longer be deleting those kind of videos. So I re-uploaded it to test it out, and of course, it was automatically demonetized. But then I appealed it, and I was happily surprised to see that they said, "All right, you are correct. This does not violate any of our rules anymore," and it was no longer demonetized. Now, recently, I noticed some weird stuff, and I noticed, looking through my YouTube library, that all of a sudden changed, and I received no notification about it. And that's a detail that's particularly weird, getting no notification. So what did I see in the video details is where it had originally said it was suitable for all advertisers, and I have an email confirming that too. By manual review, it was suitable. But now it reads that it has limited ads. It's been demonetized because another unnamed human reviewer has found it to violate their harmful or dangerous acts policy. And I asked YouTube, and because I'm lucky and get to work with Matt Taibbi a bit, he asked YouTube. They haven't responded to this. They haven't explained this at all. It's very freaky.
Okay, so the main point we want to get across to people, which you say here, is that they did it while at the same time telling you that it was fine, because you and I know very well that once we put in for review, which like they'll take forever sometimes to do. For instance, my Julian Assange video, it was like a year before nobody was watching it anymore. It was like a year before they decided to allow it to be monetized. But when you get this email here that says great news after manually reviewing your video, we've determined that it is suitable for all advertisers, then you assume like everything's good. So you get this email, you're thinking things are great. And then you find this on your own that, in fact, they had limited ads for violating their harmful or dangerous acts policy. So it's so odd. And Matt, because I'm going to pull up what we were talking about last time, because we were just discussing how this is probably going to be something that happens in the future, because we all know that the only way to fight back is when we are notified about this, and then we take the screenshots and we go to Twitter and we rile everybody up to say, tweet at YouTube and let them know that this is unacceptable. And everybody jumps on YouTube and demands an answer. And then YouTube is caught with their pants down and they say, okay. But if they do this without our knowledge, then none of that happens. I mean, that's still a crazy way to have speech in the United States of America or around the world. Okay, I personally think even the old way is crazy nuts. We shouldn't be going to Twitter and getting a rage mob to get YouTube's attention. On the other hand, it's like that's our only recourse. Mm-hmm. Now, if we don't know to even do that, and we're not just obsessively going through our videos, or maybe someday they're not even going to show it, Matt. Maybe someday you won't even be able to stumble across your videos and see it. Maybe they'll take down the notifications and say it's none of your business. It's only our financial business.
Sure,
so
very possible. Very possible. I mean, on Twitter, it seems like that's how it worked. With shadow banning. I mean, that's how shadow banning works, right? There's that's the whole part of the whole definition of shadow banning is you're banned, suppressed, but you're not informed about it. So, yeah, this could get worse. This is a very bad step in a worse direction. And just so people understand, I'll give you some figures so people understand how significant it is to be demonetized. So, and I did this in a recent live stream. So, and I just showed people my analytics directly. And so a recent Richmond, north of Richmond video, it was not demonetized, earned $250 with about 40,000 views. Now, this video, the rigged elections video that was demonetized in this sketchy way, it had more views, over 50,000 views, but only earned $20. So if you do the math, that shows that the demonetization, when your video is demonetized, that removes about 90 to 95% of the income you would otherwise be getting. Now, my little videos on YouTube, it's not, huge money, especially for the time it takes to put them together. But it's the same principle that's happening with these bigger stories like the Gray Zone losing $100,000 because their GoFundMe account froze. So, and this, my story of a much smaller scale demonetization represents a widespread, massive scale demonetization of, many more people, of pretty much anyone who discusses topics that are considered controversial by the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah. Okay, Matt, I want to show everybody, hang on, my internet is really slow, so I know I'm talking and you can't see me, but just pretend like you can. I want to show everybody this. This is what we were talking about last time. Hang on, can you see me yet? What's happening here?
I can see you.
You can. Okay, good. This is a problem show. It's like YouTube knew. Well, this is StreamYard, actually. Okay, finally. Okay, so this is what we talked about last time when we were discussing virality circuit breakers, taxpayer-funded researchers devise new stealth censorship strategies. And it's just like the playbook is here, talking about the Foundation for Freedom Online exposing the University of Washington, not shocking that that's my old neighborhood of Seattle, University of Washington Center for an Informed Public. Doesn't that sound like such false advertising to say you are the Center for an Informed Public when you're doing research about how to censor information? I mean,
Amazing.
Doesn't that seem a little weird? Anyway, okay, we're going to get into that in a second, but don't forget, everybody, it's Friday. You're looking at Matt Orfalea. There's no other better reason to have a great glass of wine. So go to AllisonWinePromo.com, 50% off my favorite wines, 50% off shipping. We're we're not making any money on YouTube. Well, Rumble gets the views. I don't know about how your views are on Rumble, but I don't get any money from Rumble. Do you? Do you make any money off Rumble?
A little bit. But again, you need a lot of views to really make money, and they get there's less audience on Rumble. Hopefully that's growing because they do censor less than YouTube. So
I don't think they have the high paying advertisers yet. Like YouTube has like just more advertising revenue, I think, coming in because they've got like homesteading content and DIY stuff, and it's a search engine and things like that. Anyway, said, yes, go ahead.
Well, I will just say, I believe they pay a higher, the super chats
RPM?
function in YouTube. So the super chat,
percent.
they give the creator a higher cut of the super chat than YouTube.
Oh, okay. Rumble Rant. So that's very good. So you give a Rumble Rant. And Matt's on Rumble, so go find him on Rumble too and help us. So yes, Allison Wine Promo is a great way to support my work. You can also, besides the wine, 50% off shipping, 50% off the wine itself. High altitude, extremist altitude wines are my favorite wines. I was drinking high altitude wines from this very region of Argentina before I even had a sponsor. So I'm telling you the truth. I don't just say that I love these wines because they pay me to keep me in business. I actually just really love them. They heard that about me, and that's how they found me. So I'm genuinely telling you the truth. I love these wines. They're my favorite, and they come with a great cause. What are you doing on Labor Day? What are you doing for whatever holidays coming up? You got any birthdays coming up, christenings, whatever it is, this is a great wine. You can cook with it. You can drink it. You can wash your sorrows away with it. You can party with it. Whatever you want to do with it, it's great for all of it, okay? If you have too much of it, though, you might want to go to twinenginecoffee.com/Allison, which is where you can get some USDA certified organic coffee. There's light roast. There's dark roast. I have the espresso. With my raw milk lattes in the morning, there's also tea. If you're a tea drinker, the Katura tea is tea made from the fruit around the coffee bean. It's very good. I prefer to cold brew. It's great for the summer. Add a little bit of lemon, maybe some honey in it. It's really good. So twinenginecoffee.com/Allison. Again, that's USDA certified organic high altitude coffee roast, and then AllisonWinePromo.com. Okay, so let's go. Well, actually, Matt, before I even get to that, how can people support you? Let's do that next.
I think Substack's the best spot. Because just support me on Substack, and that way you also get notifications when I put out new material, because if you subscribe to me on YouTube and places like YouTube, you don't always get a notification. So and I'm at the Orf Report. The URL is censorednews.substack.
Nothing he has ever reported has been proven false, just too early. Matt. Okay. All right, so let's go back over to this. This was the article that we talked about last time, and I'm going to try to find this specific paragraph. But they talk about this. Here's a full study. They talk about the idea that if the tech platforms reduce what they call misinformation, because they're not saying. Because they're saying combining interventions. That's what they're calling these interventions to reduce the spread of viral misinformation. So that sounds very good, right? So it's like misinformation poses a range of threats, and this is how we can reduce it. And they identify the problem that when you do reduce it, it creates this backlash among people and adds distrust of the government and these institutions. And so how can you get away from that? And here are like nudges and reduced reach, and talking also other than like account banning. That's their worst case scenario. You ban the account, but what they're saying would be the best is if you do it essentially in a way that's stealth, and then nobody knows, and then that way you don't have to worry about people getting upset. And then also it has the other side purpose, I guess, the parallel purpose of maintaining the censorship, because when we find out about it and then we get YouTube to finally reckon with its own policies that like we didn't violate, then the misinformation gets to stand, and all the mainstream media writes articles about how YouTube is allowing us to keep talking about all these crazy things. So they want to avoid the rage, and they want to keep the censorship in place and doing things secretly, which I'm sure they have justified to themselves as like a good thing. To them that makes sense, and so that's just very odd that coincidence. I don't know that it happened to you just like a couple
Pretty
weeks
amazing.
after. I know.
Yeah.
So where do you go from here, Matt?
Well, where I went from here was a deeper dive into YouTube's harmful and dangerous acts policy. Because remember, that's what they said I violated with this. So that's where I got into it. And I actually discovered something I think you and your audience will find very interesting and revealing. So YouTube's within the harmful or dangerous acts policy, there is a subcategory called harmful misinformation. And every single example of harmful misinformation is a stereotypical MAGA Republican thing. So YouTube couldn't make their bias any more clear. And I'll read it out to you so you know what I'm talking about. So this is directly from YouTube's harmful misinformation policy. So bullet point number 1, promoting harmful misinformation. Examples: Pizzagate, QAnon, Stop the Steal. And they also climate, contradicting authoritative scientific consensus on the existence of and causes behind climate change. Now, let me just summarize this to people and just show how. So, in other words, according to YouTube, MAGA's Stop the Steal election denialism is harmful, but not Democrats' election denialism that Russia hacked the election. According to YouTube, a QAnon conspiracy theory idolizing Trump is harmful, but not a BlueAnon conspiracy theory villainizing Trump like Russiagate. According to YouTube, Pizzagate conspiracy theories calling Democrats pedos are harmful, but dehumanizing Hamilton 68 conspiracy theories calling MAGA Republicans and the dissident left Russian bots are totally cool. So I was shocked to see how they revealed themselves so obviously right there.
Yeah, I think it's, to me, it's, I guess, not surprising that they still do this. I mean, I guess it's just like, haters gonna hate. They just do that. But it's interesting to me how many people still think this is either not happening or happening for our own good. I mean, that, it must be because like stuff like yours just never makes it in front of them. Though I'm sure people who are diehards that this is a good thing would probably write your stuff off for one reason or another as biased, or who knows. I just think I never cease to be amazed that we're years post like the initial real culling of information when COVID started. I mean, not that it didn't happen before that, but like COVID really ramped it up, which now the medical misinformation policy is just generalized, right, Matt? I mean, it's not COVID anymore. It's just anything that's medical misinformation that's outside the WHO.
That's right.
That really ramped it up. But that there are so many people who still think that this is like a good thing. What's interesting, Dr. Mary Talley Bowden, who's been on before, she's, besides the fact that she's a doctor who's been in practice for a long time and she's treated a lot of COVID patients, I'm almost nervous to say the term. Let's just say she prescribed something for a patient that was called horse medicine for a long time by the media and like allowed to be on YouTube, which was still misinformation. That was misinformation about this particular drug, but you were allowed to say that even though it was false. She just tweeted that she had a patient go to a pharmacy and was turned down for the prescription, even though this person had, serious problems and a doctor's note, a doctor's prescription. Like the doctor makes the decision. The pharmacist is not supposed to be playing doctor, see the patient, and isn't a medical doctor. Anyway, the pharmacy wouldn't give this person their drug. They had to go to another pharmacy, go back to the doctor, figure out what's going on. And that is because of these policies. I mean, these are real world consequences for people because of these policies, because of these totally hypocritical, completely, they're just inconsistent policies around what we're allowed to know or not allowed to know. That you could, then you have a person who could die because a pharmacist has gotten all kinds of wrong information that's been allowed about a doctor because they cited that this doctor has issues, this doctor spreads misinformation. How did this pharmacist hear that? And these censorship policies keep the corporate press, or the establishment press, like it runs cover for them. Because and I think it's a cycle, a self-fulfilling prophecy, because even if those people are going on YouTube or they're Googling information or whatever, say they're a well-meaning journalist and they really want to do it, all that comes up is the stuff that we're allowed to see. They don't see stuff like Dr. Bowden's legitimate arguments for, her particular ideas. They just see that as being labeled misinformation, or they don't see it at all because it's taken off. And anyway, it has really serious consequences for people. And it's just crazy to me that there are still so many people who think it's a good thing this many years after the beginning of COVID, especially.
And what helps them think it's a good thing is YouTube's framing of it as an exclusively MAGA Republican problem, misinformation, when obviously it is in no way exclusive to any one, group or politics. So, and in that way that YouTube does that, it's funny because the ultimate irony is that their policy, the way they've written it, is misinformation. It misinforms people into believing that misinformation is an exclusively MAGA Republican thing. It's misinformation. And one of the craziest examples where they really are spreading misinformation is in there. So they also have a medical misinformation and scientific misinformation subcategory. Yes, there's harmful misinformation and medical misinformation are different categories. I know it's weird because I thought medical misinformation, we had to delete it because it was harmful, but it's a different category. So crazy. It's just a never-ending thing. But so one of the examples that they gave of medical misinformation was, quote, injecting hydroxychloroquine. Now, I looked up to find any example of this. I could not find an example of anybody encouraging injection of hydroxychloroquine. Nowhere. I couldn't find it. Now, some of the early studies on hydroxychloroquine used an IV drip, which is different from an injection. Injection is all at one time, very different. The different medical definitions. So you would think, the literature, the text on medical misinformation would be correct. It's not correct. And I've asked Jay Bhattacharya, Brett Weinstein, everybody, is there any example? Is there anybody out there encouraging injection of hydroxychloroquine? No, they're not. Now, so they just made up this entire thing that doesn't exist. And when I Google it with quotation marks in a search engine, a Google search engine, the top search result is just some random anti-Trump tweet, accusing him of saying, promoting injecting hydroxychloroquine. That didn't happen. He suggested looking into injection of a general disinfectant. He didn't specify. That's not hydroxychloroquine, right? So again, YouTube's example is just, it doesn't even exist. It's pure misinformation. Now, so that top search result, that anti-Trump tweet, has no engagement whatsoever. The next four of the 5 top search results for this term in YouTube's misinformation guide is YouTube's misinformation policy itself. So they're the ones spreading that misinformation that exists, that anyone's encouraging that. Anyway, I just thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. No, oh yeah, their policies are totally full of misinformation. Yeah, it's really funny, actually. If it didn't have such seriously dire consequences, you'd have to laugh at it because it's so. When I watch your videos, I do laugh a lot because you do such a good job at showing how ridiculous it is. And maybe it's the music you choose. I don't know, but Katie says, Matt, easy on the mic. He's getting a street preacher on anyway. Poor Matt. We're going to let him go and fix his mic.
No, see, we cranked it all up, and now when I raise my voice, then it's clipping.
Ouch, my ears.
Oh, no.
You guys are incorrigible. The audience today is, they're just, we can't please you guys. All right, Matt, let's tell people one more time where they can support you. Don't forget also, Locals, alsamara.locals.com is one of the best places to support me. You join my editorial board for $5 a month. You get to go one-on-one with the most censored people on the internet. You get a free media analysis show that my buddy Bill Doris and I do for supporters only. So I think it's a great value. You get a lot of updates on our family homestead and that kind of thing. $5 a month. And like I said, you get to put questions in ahead of time for interviews. Matt, one more shout out for how people can find you and support your work.
I'm also on Locals. Thank you, Allison, for introducing that to me. Just starting there, so please follow me over there. Also on Patreon and Substack, censorednews.substack.
Okay, censorednews.substack, not Matt Orfalea on Substack.
Well, you could probably find me if you search that also.
Okay, all right, great. Okay, Matt, it's always great to have you on. Thanks so much. Thanks, everybody who's watching. Thanks for hanging with us and dealing with the audio issues, even though I thought Matt sounded fine. But whatever. Bye, everybody.
Well, I'm going to find out. We're going to find out.
Yeah, we'll go back and watch this. And we're going to check all the misinformation. We'll see what we think. But we won't suspend you guys. We won't ban your accounts for any misinformation. All right, have a great weekend. See ya.